A very welcome to all the aspirants. So I'll be discussing the Indian polity, governance section and social justice section, GS paper 2. In that, JKP sir is going to discuss the Indian polity, already discussed, and then governance part. I'll be taking social justice, and there are four questions which came on IR. So today I'll be covering the mains question which came on the topic called social justice, and there are model answers which are attached, which will be shared on the YouTube. Now, in social justice, three questions have come, and the questions have come on very much on the expected lines. These are topics which are very contemporary in nature, thereby it is expected that students in topics ko tayar kare. Women-related issues, the issues of women, child, development, any kind of inequality, injustice, poverty, all these topics are covered. And if you just read newspapers and if you have made notes on these topics, you can write very effective answers for the mains. So let's understand. And so there are three questions I'll be discussing in the next 15 minutes. The first question is on the social capital. Women social capital complements in advancing empowerment and gender equity explained. So what is social capital? So social capital is a concept which basically believes in how people come together, they network, they work together. There is a community building, and that cooperation and collaboration works like a capital, and thereby it enhances your possibility to do well in life. A very good example of social capital is people coming together. Let's say you're working in a government scheme called Manrega, and you come together. Another collaborative and the most relevant example of social capital would be the creation of self-help groups. We have examples of Jivika in Bihar, NRLM at Government of India, Kudammashri in Kerala. We have institutions, organizations which have come together, and most of these self-help groups are women-driven and they have empowered women. So first, how do you start the answer? You can start with the concept of social capital, just define it. It is about building networks, solidarity and community bonds. And that community bond coming together, how it empowers you as an individual or as a group as well. So social capital will empower you socially, economically, politically, and it will make sure that you are doing well in future. So here, first, let's discuss how social capital empowers women. And empowerment also means gender equity. So gender equity means women are the vulnerable section of the society, and their access to resources, land, property, income, that is biased. And thereby you have to create a mechanism to empower them. One mechanism is by creating self-help groups. So self-help group is a concept where women come together and they participate. Now here we have example of Kerala's Kudammashri, where 4.5 million women got benefit from the scheme and fostered grassroots leadership, and leading to 54% representation in local body. So in Kerala, 54% जो है women का participation है in local body, and that shows how the social capital can help them. The second is economic upliftment. So women coming together as a group individually. So we have schemes like NRLM, so National Rural Livelihood Mission, which has benefited 9 million women to come above poverty line. Though number of people just who have been benefited is in crores. So we have schemes like facilitating credit access and entrepreneurship. So we have a concept called SHG linked bank program, where SHGs को create करते हैं and then they pool the resources. The resources जो होते हैं that can be used as collateral and banks can give you loan. वो same जो pooling of resource होता है coming together, that can be further intra-lending among members भी हो सकता है, that can also help you. So economic upliftment is one of the most primary objective of the self-help groups, and it helps in building social capital as well. So NABARD के हिसाब से SHG linked bank program has dispersed 1.5 lakh crore and repayment more than 95%. That means सिर्फ loan नहीं ले रहा है. They are very effective also. 95% women are actually paying the loan and showcasing the collective credibility. Then coming to, as a group, you are strong. You can bargain together, you can network together, and thereby you can build together the entire thing. So solidarity build hota hai. For example, you can collaborate and seek better wages. You can make sure that you are being valued, and thereby you get the benefits. Then a very common saying, when a woman is educated, the whole family is educated. So If woman is educated and aware, naturally that can help you in general. So we have schemes like Seva, digital literacy drives, which empowers women, skill development ho, knowledge ho. Also during COVID, we saw that women network, SHG-based groups, they helped in the PPE code, PPE kits, provided other benefit. And we have digital platforms also, Mahila eHeart, and they have benefited the entire thing. So we have a concept of skill sharing, advocacy for gender equity. All these things can be done through the networking model of social capital. So social capital definitely empowers. And remember, government ke jo approach hai, where they want inclusive growth, social capital approach is one of the most primary approach. Now SHGs ने women का average income बढ़ाया है. As per World Bank 2022, SHG participation increases decision making by 25% of the household. ये women की बात हो रही है. Then there are challenges also. In spite of that, there are still the challenges. So in conclusion, what you'll write? The body आपका complete हो गया. You have some 7-8 points. It's a 150-word answer. 7-8 points are more than sufficient. Women social capital in India serves as a potent force in driving empowerment and reducing gender disparity. And we need to develop and strengthen such networks, or SDGs. The Sustainable Development Goals 5, gender equality and inclusive development, can be achieved as well. So that is how you can close the answer. So this is a very common question, but you can write effective answer. Now second is from the poverty and inequality. Now remember, contemporary relevant hai. Poverty, inequality is used and discussed in the last few months. Poverty data has come, inequality data has come. World Inequality Report. Then recently, World Equality Report में India का जो consumption expenditure है, India is 4th number in the World Equality Report. You know, now that data is being questioned because of consumption hai, because inequality is mainly in terms of income as well. So you have access to asset or you don't have access to asset. So let's understand. Inequality in the ownership of pattern of resources is one of the major causes of poverty. Historically, when you saw India's growth, when India got independence, one of the major challenges India saw was lack of access of resources, land ownership. Because हमारा land जो ownership था वो biased था. Few people owned the entire thing because of the old land settlement policy of the British. So definitely poverty का एक बड़ा reason है lack of access of resources. Now when you don't have resources, तो आप क्या करोगे? You cannot generate income. Tangible asset like land, property can help you to gain income. And if you're skilled, you can further take it to next level. So it is very important that we focus on that. Now question is that ये statement है discuss in the context of paradox of poverty. Now what is the meaning of paradox of poverty? Now here paradox of poverty का मतलब है India has abundant resources but there is inequality in society. India has abundant resources but there is inequality in society. India is one of the largest economy in the world, the 5th largest, और अभी 4th होने वाले हैं, हो गए हैं, and we are still facing high problems. In spite of the 5th largest economy, 23% live in the multidimensional poverty index as per the data of Niti Aayog. Now that data has been revised और नया data कहता है it has come down to 12-13%. Similarly, World Bank data has come where poverty has declined to 5.3% as per the World Bank. तो ये World Bank का जो data है ये बता रहा है कि भी extreme poverty इंडिया में कम हो गया है. But in spite of that, one big reason is lack of access of resources. Land asset hai, land ownership hai, access to other aspect is very important. So let's understand. So paradox of poverty India में क्यों है? The first is land ownership. As we all know that in India, land ownership बहुत biased है. Almost 85% of Indian farmers they own less than 2 hectares of land. और ये इंडिया का half land से भी कम है. Then top 10% of rural household control half of the agricultural land. Now, आप सोचो कितना बड़ा paradox है. The top 10% have more than half of the land, and the remaining 90% have remaining half land. So there is extreme disparity in terms of ownership of asset. अच्छा, दूसरा problem है land is small, holdings are small, so the holdings are not economical enough to sustain your life and income. Second is mineral wealth and tribal poverty. Now try to see, India एक resource country है. जहां पर the areas you have Jharkhand, you have Odisha, you have Chhattisgarh, you have Madhya Pradesh also. ये सारे belts में mineral belts are there, and in spite of the mineral belts which generates lot of income, the poverty is extreme in these areas. So ये एक resource curse भी कहते हैं economy के अंदर, where resource rich states are suffering with the highest poverty and displacement also. So ऐसा क्यों है? Because the benefits of these economic resources, they do not reach the masses. And यहाँ पे भी you will find that, for example, let's talk about tribals. So tribals are community people. So they don't own land individually. वो community land ownership होता है. Now in these areas, government will control these land, and thereby the entire tribal group is deprived of the land ownership or land asset. Also ये बहुत सारे इसमें tribals are still not developed. They are following very outdated and archaic agricultural approach, जहाँ पे technology का वो use नहीं करते हैं. So naturally the agriculture is not productive enough. The second problem is that they depend on the minor forest produce. Resource पे आप depend करते हो जहाँ से income बहुत नहीं आती है. So because of this energy and mining, resource displacement भी होता है. Second is food surplus versus malnutrition. Now try to understand. India is a country with food security but nutritional insecurity. World हमारा world जो food hunger index है उसमें इंडिया का रैंक काफी नीचे है, more than 100, 105, 104 out of 122 countries. So India is a leading food grain producer, but almost 74% of the household cannot get a nutritious diet. खाना तो मिल रहा है, but nutrition is lacking. So we face problem like child wasting, child stunting, malnutrition. ठीक है? Then urban inequality. Now you can see there are islands of prosperity amidst oceans of poverty. So India के अंदर we have billionaires, we have rich people who have so much resource and land, and the majority are suffering or they are challenging, facing challenge because access to resource नहीं है. आपके पास land है, आप agriculture कर सकते हो. If you have a land in urban area, you can make house. आप rental income से अपनी income generate कर सकते हो. You can start a business there just because your house is located in urban area. तो ये सारे advantages हैं. Also coming to various report like Oxfam report है, the richest 1% own 53% of national wealth. Where bottom 50% share only 4.1%. Now these are contrasting data जो state of the economic affair को depict करते हैं. And even in the credit access, only 27% of the rural household have access to formal credit. ये NABARD का data है. 2 years ago, 27, यानी you can say that more than 70% people do not get access to formal credit. यानी आप एक money lender पे depend हो रहे हो. Now naturally these people will perpetuate poverty. Poverty को steepen करेंगे, deepen करेंगे, and they will make things difficult for common people. So we are facing a resource rich but poor regions that we've already discussed. Now what is the way forward? करना क्या चाहिए? The paradox is there. The way forward is to create an opportunity for the people. The first is land आप नहीं है उनके पास. You can empower them through education and skill, provide them better opportunity, and facilitate them to move up in the social mobility ladder. तो यहाँ पर social Amartya Sen का there is a concept called entitlement theory that poverty कहाँ से आता है? From unequal access to resources and land property. And then we have social barriers also. अच्छा, India में जो access to resources है, that also stems from the factors like lack of land ownership, caste factors are there. तो ये भी aspect है. So these challenges they further fuel the intergenerational poverty. यानी एक generation से second generation में poverty perpetuate होती है. If you are rich, the chances of your children will also be rich. उसकी chance काफी ज़्यादा है. But if you are poor, the chances of your child being poor is much higher. So ये intergenerational poverty है, and that is something that have to be addressed. अच्छा, asset नहीं होता है, आपको credit नहीं मिलता है, you get exploited, employment नहीं मिलता है, and these are the challenges which are there. So data inequality, income inequality, land inequality, resource inequality, all these are the challenges India faces, and thereby we have to empower these people. First, identify them, target them, empower them through schemes like land reforms, through schemes like financial inclusion, SHGs movement. And that is how we can envision a more equitable society. So a conclusion में आप short 2 lines लिख सकते हैं. तो paradox of poverty का मतलब है at one end country has so much resource, at other end India is poor. The third question comes is about the National Commission for Protection of Child Right. Now NCPCR हमेशा news में रहता है. The first is challenge faced by children in the digital era. So they are specifically talking about digital era. Digital era में क्या problem है? Examine the existing policy and suggest measures. So first is challenges, policies and measures. So existing policies and framework की बात करते हैं. How do you start? Explain with the concept of NCPCR. एक ऐसी body है which talks about child rights and welfare. Now in digital era, children are facing a new problem. क्या problem face कर रहे हैं digital era में? Cyber bullying, online exploitation, privacy violation, and exposure to harmful content. Because today we live in that era. So naturally addressing this would require robust policies. Now let's talk about the policies. Existing policies क्या क्या है? So in IT Act, POSCO Act 2012, where online sexual exploitation abuse को counter करना है. Then recently government has come with the concept of Digital Personal Data Protection Bill, emphasize data privacy. Then NCPCR guidelines हैं अलग से, which the bodies have to follow, and their policy for children as well. So all these policies somewhere recognizes the importance of digital technology also and the harmful impact of that. तो इनको आपको कोट करना होगा अपने आंसर में. रिमेंबर दीज आर, ये टॉपिक सोशल जस्टिस के हाईली फैक्चुअल होते हैं. कॉन्सेप्चुअली यू नो थिंग्स, बट फैक्चुअली यू हैव टू रिमेंबर डेटा एंड फैक्ट. बहुत सारा डेटा फैक्ट आपको तैयार करना होगा, मल्टीपल टाइम रिवाइज करना होगा, एंड यू हैव टू मेक एन एफर्ट एंड इम्प्रोवाइज देम एंड ब्रिंग इन योर आंसर्स. तो आंसर राइटिंग में बहुत प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी. दीज आर डेटा ड्रिवन आंसर्स. देन चैलेंजेस क्या क्या इंडिया में फेस करते हैं डिजिटल एरा में. द फर्स्ट यू कैन सी 63% of children aged use internet, increasing their vulnerability to cyber threats. Then cyberbullying, online sexual offenses बढ़ रहा है. Lack of awareness about how do we use digital safety, and if there is a exploitation in the digital era, what kind of measures you get in terms of redressal mechanism. इसमें भी एक clarity नहीं है. And digital era इतनी तेजी से evolve हो रहा है that our laws and our ecosystem is not able to adapt to that. क्या क्या measures हैं? First is digital awareness. Now you have to create awareness mechanism for children, parents, everyone. Then reporting mechanism. If there is a child abuse, child harassment, cyberbullying on digital, you have to create an accessible platform where they can easily reach out to the enforcement agencies, police, and thereby resolution होना चाहिए. Collaboration with tech companies, where हम लोग tech companies को हम involve करें, child protection पे काम करें, identify the data, identify the content which can be abuse the children, and accordingly. Then capacity building. Now हमारे law enforcement agencies, educators have to be empowered so that they can counter it. Then policy adequacy, हमको अपने laws में digital risk को include करना होगा. For example, the concept of deep fake, online gambling, ये बहुत बढ़ रहा है. Now these also have to be countered, and then we have to invest in the research and understand how future में technologies बदलेंगी. The entry of AI can make further challenging situation. So this is how you can understand. The idea is to make sure, now India as a young country with huge young population and of course the children, it is very important that an imperative that we take suitable policy measures to implement them. Okay, so that completes this video. Thank you very much. Do like and subscribe to the channel, and the other subject videos faculties will be sharing with you. Take care. God bless you. Bye.